Hi, this is attorney Nicole Christie from the Christie Law Firm, where we work hard to make families stronger. And so today I want to talk to you about our single parent series. And in this particular segment, I'll talk about best resources for single parents. And so I'm going to also talk about that in the context of DCF. So when DCF comes across a family, one of the things that they want to see is what are the resources, what are the strengths that the family has. So some of the best places to, have a resource and to make sure that you can demonstrate to DCF that while you might be raising the children by yourself, you've got these supports. Number one, you definitely want to start with family. If you have a mom or dad or uncles or aunts or cousins that are available to you, they're nearby, you want to make sure that you have their information ready for you. You want to make sure that your kids know them very well, because God forbid if DCF ever has to remove your kids from your care, if you can show, hey, I have these relatives, the kids know them, they love them, they're acquainted with their home, DCF has to consider them first before they place them with a perfect stranger. And plus, it's just good to have family around. There's always that saying that says it takes a village. It is very, very true. And if your village does include, family members, that's the first and one of the best places to go. But sometimes you might not have family nearby. Maybe you've moved to another state and your family is in a whole different state, or maybe you're estranged from your family. So I just want to share with you some other resources. Another place that you can go is just looking at parenting groups itself. Maybe there are other play groups or parenting education groups. Just tying yourself with someone who could give you pointers should you have some difficulty. Maybe you have a child with a special need and you're not quite sure how to handle that. Make sure you get involved with some parenting groups around that, and even support groups. So for example, if you have a child that has autism, a form of autism that maybe the child doesn't speak and they're not expressive, you may want to find other people with a similar family setup so that you can talk with them, that you can have that support, and maybe they can give you even a reference. Again, should DCF should ever become involved and they give you a hard time about what your support network looks like, if you're a single parent, then you can actually show, hey, this is another resource that I have. Another place to consider is a church, and I'm not trying to indoctrinate anyone at this point, but churches tend to have a lot of, kind of get-together resources. I know with COVID it might be a little different, it might be structured a little different, but if you have some people in your church that could be a support to you, I tend to love what we call in our church senior saints. So those are people who are probably in the baby boomer age group. They sometimes have time, they sometimes have resources, and if it's someone that you think you could rely upon, tap into that particular resource. Try to find other friends who are similarly situated. Maybe they're raising a child who has similar needs as yours, or maybe in the same age group. The one factor that I want to have you take away from all of this is don't try to be a single parent all by yourself. That is not a task that is always easy to do. Yes, you may have incredible skills. You may be very organized. You know your children well. But God forbid something happens to you, what is the plan for your child? So having those backup resources would be very helpful if you find that you are truly a single parent. Another resource that I can just think of, and I want to end with this, is sometimes that other parent's family could be a resource. So just because the two of you didn't work out, do not estrange yourself from his or her family, because they could be a resource. I have seen individuals, be in support of the person that's not their child, sometimes over their own child. It's kind of interesting to see. Whenever I see that happening, I know that there's definitely a strength for the client that's being supported by that other parent's parents. So don't ever rule them out completely. Again, just because it didn't work out with the other parent, you're no longer in a relationship, you're no longer married, do not cut that other side of the family off, because they too could become resources for you down the line. And it doesn't have to be just about placement, God forbid if there's an emergency, but just support, babysitting support, someone to talk to, someone to leave the kids with even for a couple of hours so that you can get a breather. It isn't easy. Again, even even if you are a two-parent family, it's not always easy to manage the kids, but when you're a single parent, sometimes the burden is a little heavier. So give yourself a break. Realize that there are moments when you just need to breathe, but having the right support services and resources available to you will make all of the difference. So stay tuned for more videos in this particular series, and we also have a lot of other videos, especially dealing with DCF, everything that we can think of to try to help you make your family stronger. Take care.